Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
We'll take over the Gaza Strip and we will do a job with it too.
The Palestinian president has said he strongly rejects President Donald Trump's proposal for the US to take over Gaza and permanently resettle the 2.1 million Palestinians living there. Mahmoud Abbas warned that Gaza was an integral part of the state of Palestine and forced displacement would be a serious violation of international law. Hamas, whose 15-month war with Israel has caused widespread devastation, said Mr. Trump's plan would put oil on the fire in the region. Arab states also rejected the idea, with Saudi Arabia reiterating it would not normalize ties with Israel without the establishment of a Palestinian state.
This land is a Palestinian land. It's the international law. It's the Arab Peace Initiative. We refuse any kind of transfer for the Palestinian people. And we appreciate the position of the Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Jordan concerning this issue. We are against any occupation, whether Israeli occupation or American occupation.
They must be allowed to rebuild, and we should be with them in that rebuild on the way to a two-state solution.
Police in Sweden say they are yet to find a motive after a gunman killed 10 people before shooting himself. Police say the main thrust of their investigation is to understand what happened and why, particularly what the perpetrator's motive was. Lars Wirren, police chief for Örebro, says officers are also working on a murder investigation using resources from across the country. More than 100 female prisoners have been raped and burned alive during a jailbreak in the Congolese city of Goma, according to the UN. Masses of prisoners broke out of the Munzenze prison last Monday after fighters from the M23 rebel group began to take over the city. Between 165 and 167 women were assaulted by male inmates during the jailbreak. The report states that most of the women were killed after the inmates set fire to the prison. Belgian police are looking for 2 armed men after a shooting reported outside a metro station in the city of Brussels. CCTV footage showed at least 2 men wearing balaclavas and carrying what appeared to be Kalashnikov weapons at the entrance of a metro station in the Belgian capital early on Wednesday. Video from the scene showed an exchange of fire at about 6:15 local time. The spokeswoman said there were no injuries in the shooting. Both the local police and Federal Railway Police are searching the area. The US Postal Service says it has stopped accepting parcels from mainland China and Hong Kong until further notice. Letters will not be affected by the suspension, said the company, which declined to offer a reason for the decision. However, on Tuesday, new rules came into force, which closed a loophole that allowed small packages worth $800 or less to be sent to the US without paying taxes or fees. It was one of the measures announced by US President Donald Trump, who imposed an additional 10% tariff on all goods imported to the US from China. Historic buildings in Mosul, including churches and mosques, are being reopened following years of devastation resulting from the Iraqi city's takeover by the extremist group Islamic State. The project, organised and funded by UNESCO, began a year after IS was defeated and driven out of the city in northern Iraq in 2017. UNESCO's Director General attended a ceremony on Wednesday to mark the reopening. Local artisans, residents and representatives of all of Mosul's religious communities were also there. And a badly burnt scroll from the Roman town of Herculaneum has been digitally unwrapped, providing the first look inside for 2,000 years. The document, which looks like a lump of charcoal, was charred by the volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD and is too fragile to ever be physically opened. But now scientists have used a combination of X-ray imaging and artificial intelligence to virtually unfurl it, revealing rows and columns of text. More work is needed to make the scroll fully legible to decipher its contents, but the team behind the project say the results are very promising.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.